Hey guys, welcome back to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath. This is our, I'm going to call it an August, is it the super show? I don't know if I never know if I don't think this is enough for a super show. So let's say that this is the August new release spotlight. It's not just boutique releases either, because we've got stuff from Lionsgate. Lionsgate is kind of masquerading as a boutique because they've got this Lionsgate Limited thing going on, but they're one of the major studios. We've also got things from Sony. We got a standalone Karate Kid Legends release. We've got How to Train Your Dragon. We got some major studio stuff here, but we've also got Radiance. We've got Arrow. We've got Warner Archive. I'm super excited to talk about the Warner Archive releases. We got 3 Steelbooks that we're going to be kicking it off with. So let's just dive right into it, okay? So let's do these 2 These are both Lionsgate Limited Steelbooks. This is going to be High Tension and It Follows. They're still in the shrink wrap, as is this Steelbook, Monty Python and the Holy Grail on 4K Steelbook from Sony. It's from Sony, right? Let me double check that. Sony. So which dealer's choice? I'm going to go with High Tension first. This movie's crazy. I haven't watched it in a while. It's a fairly disturbing movie, and in these tumultuous times, I'm moving further into things that fill me with wonder and joy and imagination rather than things that remind me that everything is terrible. So this is not a movie that I revisit often, but it is a movie that I respect. I think it's a really well done movie. Here's the question for those that have seen it, and don't spoil it in the comments for the people that haven't seen it. But do you think that this holds up to repeated viewings once you know the thing, right? I'm not even going to say what the thing is, obviously, but how does it hold up to repeated viewings? Because some movies like, I was going to start comparing, but then that kind of gives away a little bit of the fun. This is one of those lenticular covers, Steelbooks. And here's the, I've already showed you the back. All right, let's get into there's a ton of stuff here. I'd like you to read that so I don't have to read all that to you, but I don't know if that's going to show up very well. Let's hit the high notes. Audio commentary. This is the Blu-ray and the Blu-ray and the 4K both have audio commentary with the director and the writer. We have a scene-specific audio commentary with 2 people from associated with film: Haute Horror, the making of High Tension featurette; Building Tension featurette; Gianetto De Rossi, The Truth, the Madness, and the Magic. Then here are the Lionsgate Limited extras: audio commentary with film lecturer Dr. Lindsay Hallam; an experiment in suspense interview with director Alexandra Aja, The Man in the Shadows interview with writer Gregory Levasseur; The Darker the Better interview with cinematographer Maxine Alexandre. Just keep going, man. The Great French Massacre interview with special effects artist Gianetto De Rossi; Only the Brave film critic Alexander Heller Nicholas on High Tension; archive interview with actress Cécile de France; and our archival interviews. It just keeps going. It's loaded. It's loaded up with stuff. So let's see. Obviously, we just took the shrink wrap off together. So let's see. Wow, that's really edgy. It might be too edgy for our purposes here, but they're definitely leaning into it. Okay, you got a good look at it, right? There's a digital code inside. We have the 4K disc. We have a Blu-ray disc under that. Let's see. Come on. The thing about these Steelbooks is these discs are really on there, and if you push too hard to get them off, you're going to bend the Steelbook. Alright, that's the that has a straight razor on it, and this disc has the saw blade on it. Alright, so that's High Tension. Let's move on to another horror. I guess these are we're ramping up for horror season, right? It's so weird to think that our holidays start so early now. It wasn't always this way, but now in August we're gearing up for Halloween, which is crazy. We have like 3 months of all of these things, and then of course we'll start as soon as Halloween has come. We will start celebrating Christmas. Here's It Follows. This looks like it's going to... Oh, yeah, I like the way that this is done. Okay, hold on. Let me read the back of the... Here, I'll show you the back of the Steelbook here. This is Lionsgate Limited again. Special features include critics commentary, hosted by Scott. So fine print. Scott Weinberg, a conversation with film composer Disaster Piece Theatrical. The Disaster Piece is the composer? Okay. Lionsgate Limited extras. Audio commentary with Joshua Grimm. Audio commentary with film critic Danny Lee and film professor Mark Jankovic. Chasing Ghosts. There's a lot of people been popping up on these releases that I'm unfamiliar with. And so, I mean, maybe it's good that we're getting some new blood in some of these things instead of the same, 10 people. Interview with actor Keir Gilchrist, following interview with actor Olivia Lucardi. It's In the House, interview with producer David Kaplan, composing a masterpiece, new interview with the composer, and it goes on, right? So let's see what we're dealing with here. Oh, hold on. Interesting. So there's I don't know how well that's showing. These hands, these ghostly hands reaching towards our protagonist here. Okay, we've got a digital code inside. This is a 1-disc release. Let me see if I can. Oh, that came off a little bit easier. All right. So those are the two Lionsgate Limited. I think we may have another Lionsgate thing in here, but I want to move on. I wanted to do all the Steelbooks together. So from Sony, a movie that I adore and that I can watch endlessly. So subversive, so funny, so clever. I don't want to build it up too much because somebody that hasn't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail might come to it and be like, I mean, maybe their expectations are too high. That's something that is a risk, that you talk so highly about something that people are inevitably disappointed when they finally get to it. This is the 4K and Blu-ray, the 50th anniversary. This is our J card. But before we go any further, let's check out what we've got. So the special features on the 4K disc have the near theatrical version of the film and 'Tis But a Tribute, 50 Years of the Holy Grail. And then the Blu-ray disc looks like it's bringing forward all the stuff that's already been done. Commentary with John Cleese, Eric Idle, Michael Palin, commentary by Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones. Some of these people aren't even alive anymore. 2015 Tribeca Film Festival Q&A with Terry, Mike, and John and Eric. Outtakes and extended scenes. Lost animations. Quest for the Holy Grail locations. Lego Nights Japanese version. Coconuts featurette. BBC. Okay, they brought it all forward. So, J card to the side. To the side. Here's the front of the Steelbook. It's got this matte finish. I kind of like these matte finish ones. Here's the back. And oh, nice. So here's our 4K. And here is it's the Blu-ray. And what's under? Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. Or is it the other way around? Okay. So hard to get these discs off. Okay. Nice group shot there. I'm looking forward to checking this out on 4K. The movies never looked good. Let's be honest. None of the Monty Python movies have ever looked good because the way they were shot, they always had like this hazy. It was almost like there was Vaseline smeared on the lens. But I am interested to see how this translates to 4K because it is going to be the closest we've ever had to that pristine theatrical presentation. All right, this is from Sony, The Boys Season 4. I'm not going to open this or unbox this. It is what it is. It's The Boys Season 4. It has 14 deleted scenes and 4 gag reels. Are you following The Boys? I dropped off after Season 2. I'd like to catch up at some point. But not for any particular reason. Just kind of hard to keep. There's too many things. Right? There's too many things. But I like it. I like Carl Urban. Carl Urban seems to be having the time of his life on this show. And I also want to give a shout out to Jack Quaid, who has really become a star since The Boys was first created. So these, it's the same art here as far as, what's on the slipcover and what's on the the discs itself. This is just Blu-ray. There's not going to be a digital code in here because it's an Amazon show, right? Amazon doesn't usually play nice with codes. They're like, no, that's ours. But if you want to buy it, okay, here. I don't know that there's a 4K release for that. The Phoenician Scheme on 4K. This is from Universal. I saw this movie opening day in the cinema because it's a Wes Anderson movie, and this is exactly the kind of thing that I want to support. If you haven't seen this movie, it is more... Wes Anderson continues to become more of the thing that he already is. He seems to be making movies that are for his very core audience. But if you're in that core audience, there's really nothing better. And I think I am in that core audience because I just love what he does. And we quote his movies in my house, and we reference his movies in our house. And I think Guillermo del Toro, nope, that's the Benicio del Toro. Guillermo's in the news right now because he just posted a thing on social media about the Frankenstein movie that he's making with anyway, and he's like, I don't want AI in my movies, I don't want digital in my movies, I don't want, I just want practical film, blah blah blah, very like, this, like, I'm doubling down on this. Meanwhile, Peter Jackson is like, everything should be digital, if there's a character in a movie, he should be digital. And I just think they should tussle it out in the ring, right? Take it to the squared circle, and whoever wins gets to make a movie that's not a reboot, a remake, or a franchise film. Make something new. Remember Peter Jackson made movies like it was called Dead Alive was it the US? Anyway, they both feel kind of far from the movies that they used to make, and I want to see, like, can we get back to just like bonkers, crazy cinema? So I got Guillermo on my brain, but this is Benicio del Toro, and I really like Benicio del Toro too. He's so relaxed in this movie, but it's not. I think it's kind of deceptive. Mia Threepleton is really fun in this movie. Such a dry, understated performance, and Michael Cera is really fun in this too. He gets to, if you've seen the movie, he gets to do two different things, and I really like. And of course, it's got the Wes Anderson cast of, it's got Bill Murray in it. It's got Willem Dafoe in it. Benedict Cumberbatch is fun. We got Tom Hanks. We've got Bryan Cranston, Scarlett Johansson. The cast goes on. I love this movie. The special features are not particularly deep on this. We've got behind the Phoenician Scheme, the cast, the airplane, Marseille Bob, Jaja's World, and I think that's it. And of course, there will inevitably be a Criterion double dip on this, and that's probably what a lot of people are going to wait for. But in the meantime, I'm really happy to have this because I want to watch it now. I've seen it twice now since it came out, just like 2 months ago or something like that. How to Train Your Dragon has also arrived from, this is Universal as well, right? Yeah, also from Universal. I have not seen this movie. I'm middle-aged, man. I saw the original How to Train Your Dragon like once when I was in my 30s. And I was like, all right, that's okay, I guess. Totally not for me. But I know that some of you guys may very well have grown up with How to Train Your Dragon, and this movie did pretty well. I think it did pretty well in theaters. This is the, quote, live-action version of this movie, which is fun to think about, because it's so much CGI, so many green screen backgrounds. But listen, I haven't seen it, so I'm not commenting negatively upon it. We've got deleted scenes, a gag reel, love and legacy, making How to Train Your Dragon, building Burke, dreaming up the dragons, and more. So they've added some special features to this. We don't have a commentary, but that's so rare these days. The Wes Anderson movie didn't have a commentary. We don't usually get a lot of this because they don't really want us to know how the movie was made, and they don't really want the directors talking about how the movie was made either. So this is a 4K Blu-ray and a digital code, which is the same thing that the Phoenician Scheme was, and kudos to Universal, because not everybody's doing that right now. You get, a couple of, maybe you'll get a Blu-ray or you get 4K and a digital code sometimes. You don't always get all three. You did for these Steelbooks. Well, no, It Follows is not that. It Follows was just the 4K. Anyway, it's just an interesting time where formats are It's kind of a whole new format war. Now listen, we covered the Karate Kid Ultimate Collection. I unboxed that here on my channel. That was a huge deal. Sony also sent over the single Blu-ray and Blu-ray and digital release. So again, you don't get 4K Blu-ray and digital with this release. I think there is a 4K, but I don't have it. They didn't send this to me. They sent me this. So if you just want Karate Kid Legends, you certainly can have it. It's got deleted scenes, a gag reel, honoring the Miyagi legacy, the art of the action, becoming the Karate Kid, strength and character, the cast, 2 masters, 1 student. So the art, that's what we're dealing with. All right, let's talk about some boutique stuff. That's where my heart is in the boutiques, because that's where the meat is really on those bones these days, where you're getting so many. Well, the Lionsgate Limited. Okay, I started this video by saying Lionsgate wants to be a boutique. For all appearances, for all intents and purposes, not intensive purposes, for all intents and purposes, they are really living up to that bar. They are giving us releases that are full of features. But this is, this is really where it's at. So this is the Arrow stuff right here. I got 2 releases from Arrow. We're going to talk about the stuff in just a second, but we're going to talk about Poseidon first, because I'm on this 4K release. J.R. Bookwalter has produced a bevy, that's right, a bevy of new interviews and special features around the movie Poseidon, and I provided a new retrospective that was produced by J.R. Bookwalter. You know him. He's been here at Serial at Midnight multiple times. Over a period of years. I have a lot of respect for him. He has a very unique authorial voice, and he strives to a high standard, and I really appreciate that. So we are looking at, got all subtitles and all that stuff, you know that. Okay, Ocean View, a brand new interview with director of photography John Seal. Big sets for big time directors, a brand new interview with production designer William Sandell. Surfing the VFX wave, a brand new interview with visual effects supervisor Boyd Shermas. Bringing Out the Dead, a brand new interview with makeup effects on-set supervisor Michael Deek. Set a Course for Adventure, a brand new retrospective on the film by Heath Holland. Now, if Set a Course for Adventure reminds you of The Love Boat, that's because I made a Love Boat joke in my retrospective of Poseidon. Now, every time I've talked about Poseidon coming to 4K, people go, "Where's the original?" I don't know where the original is, but I think this movie is pretty special because it has aged better than the Poseidon Adventure has aged, in my opinion. Poseidon Adventure is very 70s melodrama. Very. And I'm not going to give away the whole feature here, but this movie is a visceral, terrifying, horrifying survival film from the director of Das Boot. And I don't really think that more needs to be said as far as pedigree goes, but we could look at it as a trilogy. Das Boot, A Perfect Storm, also from Wolfgang Petersen, and then this concluding the trilogy of sort of men on boats movies. You got Richard Dreyfuss back on a boat after all those years. Show me the way to go home. I have a ton of respect for this movie, and Kurt Russell delivers one of the most horrifying death scenes I've ever seen in my life. It is so realistic. I sincerely have nightmares about it. So that's my retrospective is on this disc, and I was really glad to do it. And there is more where this came from that has not been announced yet, but when it is, keep your eyes peeled. Let's see. Poseidon, a ship on a soundstage, is a featurette looking at the film's production, featuring interviews with the cast and crew. Poseidon Upside Down, featurette exploring the film's challenging set designs. A Shipmate's Diary, featuring featurette following production assistant Malona Voigt on the set of the Poseidon, reversible art sleeve, all that. So here's the alternate. This is the art. This is the poster art. Here's our slipcover. You have one format. You have the 4K, and what are they teasing? Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. And here's our booklet. We do have a booklet with writing from Priscilla Page. I'm not going to say that because I'll get flagged. That's the title of the essay. I had so much fun contributing to this. And though I've done dozens of commentaries now, more than 24 commentaries, audio commentaries, this is something on camera. This is a retrospective documentary featurette that's been produced with screen clips and music from the film, edited into the whole presentation. And I'm tremendously, tremendously proud of this and grateful to JR for producing this for me, for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm proud of it. The Stuff, crazy movie. I haven't seen this in a while, so I do need to revisit it. But you know, it's the psychotic ice cream movie. Essentially, is what it is. So brand new 4K restoration by Arrow Films. By the way, was this a brand new 4K restoration? It just says 4K presentation. Doesn't say brand new. So that probably came from that's a Warner movie. Probably came from Warner Brothers, the transfer. We have brand new audio commentary by writer and critics David Flint and Adrian Smith. We have archival audio commentary by writer-director Larry Cohen. Can't get enough of The Stuff, making Larry Cohen's classic creature feature, a documentary featuring Larry Cohen, producer Paul Kurta, actress, goes on. Let's see. Newly edited featurette featuring previously unseen interviews with the director Larry Cohen and the producer, and there's lots of names. Feature-length documentary exploring the history of New York's infamous 42nd Street with first-hand accounts from an array of filmmakers, including Larry Cohen. Trailers and TV spots. King Cohen trailer. Oh, that's a good one. I have that. I have King Cohen digitally. That's disc 1, the 4K. Disc 2 is the pre-release version on Blu-ray. It's the limited edition exclusive. So if you buy this Arrow limited edition, you're getting the feature film on 4K, and then you're getting the pre-release version on Blu-ray. An early pre-release cut of the film featuring over 30 minutes of additional footage and different music, score exclusively remastered by Arrow Films. And yeah, here's the alternate art for this. We do have a booklet. Hey, there's no teaser card in here. Flavor of the month: Consumerism and Reagan's America and Larry Cohen's The Stuff by Daniel Burnett. And Enough is Never Enough: Food, Cold Horror, and Larry Cohen's The Stuff by Joel Harley. There you go. So that is, this is for fans of The Stuff. This is now the new definitive release of that movie. All right, let's switch over to Radiance. This is the Shinobi. This is basically Volume 2. Did they call it Volume 2? No, but I believe this is the second. I've got the first one around here somewhere. It was yellow. This is the second Shinobi collection with, let's see, Siege, Return of Mist, Saizo, and The Last Iga Spy. The 3 films are included in this set. Okay, where are World Blu-ray premiere? 3 more spectacular tales of ninja action in this continuation of the highly influential series. This time, black writing on red print. Okay. There's a lot of text there. Can you guys? It shows up better on camera than it does to my eyeballs. All right, you read it, right? Let me flip it around to the special features. And oh yeah. That's nice. Okay. Here's the massive. There's a really thick booklet here. Let me show you the reversible art on the other side of this disc. There's the table of contents for everything that's in this booklet. Interesting how this booklet got so bent and banged up while inside the case. And here's the other Blu-ray. Disc is off the hub. And I spy some art cards. So let's check out these art cards. Make sure these are all safe. Oh, skipped one. pretty fun. Radiance is doing such interesting things. It really feels like Fran Simeone, he came from Arrow. I interviewed him. There's an interview here on the channel with Fran Simeone, the founder of Radiance. He really seems to just be doing things that strike his fancy. Kind of the Wes Anderson model of, like, you know, I don't know how many people it's for, but for the people that it is for, it's pretty special. Let's do these Warner archives. Now, sadly, I haven't, because things come in so fast and because I'm really working on commentaries most of the time, I have not had a chance to view the many hours of movies that we're about to talk about, but I am so excited that some of these movies now have 4K restorations or brand new restorations. So High Society from Warner Archive on 4K. This is a huge movie. Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, Frank Sinatra, Louis Armstrong. I always called him Louis Armstrong, and then I watched Ken Burns' Jazz featured documentary series, and Louis Armstrong did not like to be called Louis. And so I was like, whoa. He wanted to be called Louis. And so when you hear that's, I don't know, it's it really struck me. Like, why don't we, if he wanted to be called Louis, why don't we call him Louis? Anyway, this has obviously new 4K restoration. Featurettes, Cole Porter in Hollywood, True Love, 1956 premiere newsreel, CinemaScope cartoon, Millionaire Droopy. We got a Droopy cartoon because it's MGM. Yeah, I was looking to make sure that I wasn't talking sideways. Yeah, MGM presents, and of course Droopy being audio only promo spot featuring Bing Crosby with Grace Kelly and Frank Sinatra, and then the original theatrical trailers. I wish there was more. I wish we had like a commentary for maybe an Alan Rhodey or somebody, but the movie's enough, right? The play's the thing. To quote that famous Shakespeare line that I now say like once a month whenever we're talking about special features or whatever, a reminder, oh yeah, the play's the thing. The movie is the thing. That's the main attraction. Anything else is just a little icing on that cake. Brainstorm from Warner Archive. I think we're doing 7 Warner Archive titles here. The most fiendish idea ever conceived by the human brain. Jeff Hunter, Anne Francis, Dana Andrews, Vivica Linfers. Produced and directed by William Conrad. Hold on. Screenplay by Man Rubin. This is a 1960... Oh, geez. I got to take the glasses off again. 1965. And I'm really interested to check this out because it seems like a... obviously, being a 60s film, that's not going to be film noir. But just a thriller. And we don't really get a lot of thrillers. If thrillers are kind of a rarity these days, even something like this, which was made 60 years ago, you take a thriller when you can get it. Special features classic cartoons, The Hypochondriacat and Well-Worn Daffy, and then the original theatrical trailer. So not a ton of stuff, but I'm grateful for what we've got. The Cobweb, guys, The Cobweb. Richard Widmark, Lauren Bacall, Charles Boyer, Gloria Graham, Lillian Gish, and introducing John Kerr. You see how tiny the print is here? And introducing John Kerr and Susan Strasberg, with Oscar Levant, Tommy Rettig. Let's see. Directed by Vincent Minnelli, Liza Minnelli's dad. You get into the whole Judy Garland, thing. This is huge. This is a huge, huge movie. I am so interested in Oscar Levant now because I saw him. He was a musician and an actor and a writer, and I saw him. Sometimes I go back is just exploring the past, right? Because that is film history is my passion. I don't use the term film historian lightly. I watch old interviews for fun. So I saw Oscar Levant on Merv Griffin circa, 74, 75, it was 70s. And he was so strange and so just, I don't even know. So he seemed so uncomfortable on the stage, but also so smart. And I've been trying to track down Oscar Levant things whenever I can. So here's another one that I can add to my to my shelf. Special features: Salute to the Theaters 1955 MGM promotional shorts. It's important to talk about saluting the theaters because in 1955, TV was a huge threat to the movies. And the movies really had to turn it up to 11 to make a Spinal Tap reference and give you a reason to leave the house. And I feel like we're there again after all these years where people just, I'll stay home and watch that. I don't want to go to the movie theater to see that. That was happening in 1955. So that's going to be fun to check out. CinemaScope cartoon, The Egg and Jerry, and then the original theatrical trailer. I don't think I showed you the back of this. And I'll also show you the back of Brainstorm. Okay. Guys. Bright Leaf, Gary Cooper, Lauren Bacall, Patricia Neal. This is, what year is this? I'm looking at 1950. It's a first national picture. It's directed by Michael Curtiz, who, somebody asked me one time, was it Frankie? Frankie, did you ask me one time in a Q&A what my Desert Island, if you only could pick the films of one director, your Desert Island director pick, what would it be? And I believe my choice was Michael Curtiz because swashbucklers, westerns, hard-boiled, crime movies. The man did everything. And so this is one that's a little bit more obscure, I suppose. Co-starring Donald Crisp, Jack Carson, screenplay by Randall McDougall, from the novel by Foster Fitzsimmons. I'm going to have to seek that novel out. This has special features, classic cartoons, Bunker Hill Bunny, and Hillbilly Hare. So there's the reverse of the box. We're still rolling along with some Warner Archive titles. Executive Suite. What is that? Oh, it's like a little divot right there. It's a little chunk taken out of the plastic there. Executive Suite starring William Holden, June Allison, Barbara. We're just getting the 75th anniversary of Sunset Boulevard, and people are talking about William Holden again. We should never stop talking about William Holden. But June Allison, Barbara Stanwyck, Frederick March, Walter Pidgeon, Shelley Winters, Paul Douglas, Lewis Calhern, with Dean Jagger and Nina Falk. Who was this directed by? Produced by John Houseman, directed Robert Wise. My Lord, Robert Wise. I was just talking about Robert Wise somewhere. It doesn't matter. This is what's going on in my head all the time. All the time. The mention of a name. And I get excited. I'm like, I was just researching Robert Wise and I was talking about, of course, we could talk about Star Trek The Motion Picture because that's the thing that's, I talked to David C. Fine, who oversaw the director's edition of Star Trek The Motion Picture, which just, got a 4K release about a year or two ago. Maybe it was in the Starlog video that I did where I was talking about, I don't know. I can't keep it straight anymore because I have, 17 things going at all times. Feature commentary by Oliver Stone. What? Tom and Jerry cartoon Hiccup Pup, Pete Smith specialty Do Someone a Favor, and then the original theatrical trailer. This is a 1954 movie. I believe, despite what some people say, that the 1950s is the second greatest era for film ever, with the 1930s being the first. For me, I would probably do 30s, 50s. It's going to be a tie between the 60s and the 70s. I would really have to put some thought into that. That would be a fun video to make, is my, ranking the decades of cinema. But there's so much of it. And they're so varied, But the 30s, I always say everything had already been done by the end of the 30s. You start with pre-codes and, 3 on a match, and you end with The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind. I mean, it's crazy. And then the 40s are great, but they get a little tamed by the code, by the Hays Code, the production system. And then the 50s, the code is breaking down, and you see people just pushing against that with every single movie. And you've got the rise of some of the great method actors. You've got the rise of Brando. You got Paul Newman kind of coming into his scene there. You've got this new realism. You've got the Westerns that are no longer telling the myth of the West as it was in the 30s and the serials and stuff like that. And they're starting to break down the duality of man, that a man can have heroic aspirations and also fail at every turn. It got film noir is at its peak in the 1950s. Case in point, let's talk about Robert Mitchum and Jane Russell in His Kind of Woman. I have this on the Warner Archive DVD. You know, the DVDs were always, burned. They sort of burned, not when they first came out, but then every subsequent pressing of a DVD, it was burned on demand. And now those play well. I have no problems. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a problem. I take that back. I was going to say I don't think I've ever had a problem with a burned on demand DVD. There is a documentary about Herb Alpert, the trumpeter guy, icon, the A&M, right? A&M Records. That's a burned on demand disc, and it doesn't play. It plays, but my players have trouble with it. So, but other than that, I've had really good luck with all my DVD-Rs. But now I got a Blu-ray, and I'm really excited because this. Look. It's Robert Mitchum and Jane Russell, and they're two of the sexiest people to have ever. I mean, did I just call Robert Mitchum sexy? Yes, I did, because he was so confident and so like, baby, I don't care. You know, this very casual, confident sort of. I don't have to convert you guys, right? You already know what I'm talking about. You've seen Out of the Past. You've seen the original Cape Fear. You know what blows the remake out of the water, right? So this is 1951. Howard Hughes presents Robert Mitchum and Jane Russell in His Kind of Woman with Vincent Price, Tim Holt, you got me a B-Western guy here, Charles McGraw, a John Farrow production. John Farrow, of course, being the director of Botany Bay. This is how my brain works. I see the name John Farrow. I'm like, well, I did a commentary for Botany Bay for Kino Lorber. That was a John Farrow movie. He was an Australian who really worked in this Australian thing. People followed his career. He's the father of Mia Farrow. Everything that I see, I just want to wax rhapsodic about it, but I don't. I guess, should I contain myself? That's kind of why we're here, isn't it? Is to geek out about the stuff that we care about. Let's see. Written by Frank Fenton and Jack Leonard, produced by Robert Sparks, directed by John Farrow. It's an RKO picture. Special features commentary by film historian Vivian Sobchak, classic cartoon Bunny Hugged, and the original theatrical trailer. Run, don't walk to pick up a copy of His Kind of Woman. And then here's the last Warner Archive. There's a couple more after this that from another label, but this is our last Warner Archive for this video. This is the new Blu-ray for Knights of the Round Table, which I'm so excited to revisit because it's been so long since I've seen this. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I was younger and I watched movies like this, growing up in the 90s, I was an 80s kid, born at the end of the 70s, lived through every minute of the 80s. I really started to become a cinephile in the 90s. And it was movies like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and that New Hollywood, that's not a New Hollywood movie. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was the movie that I credit with sort of like blowing the blinders off of my eyes. I'm like, whoa, because I was paying attention to the score and to the shots and to the screenplay and to the cinematography, everything. That's the movie where I started to lock into how movies are made. And then I get the New Hollywood that really starts around 93, the new Hollywood that starts with, all the Tarantino stuff that was happening. And I would go back and I would watch movies from, what is this, it's 53. I was thinking it was late 40s. It's not too different, late 40s from early 50s. But I would go back to some of these movies and they would feel a little, I don't know, dated is obviously not the right word because of course they're dated because they're from many decades earlier. But tame, perhaps. They felt a little sanitized. But now when I go back to them as, not just an adult, but an adult with thousands of movies under my belt, I see them differently, and they are far more exciting than I ever saw at the time. And the story of King Arthur is really one of the greatest stories of the last, 1,000 years. That is one of our great myths, is the King Arthur story. I don't think it's been done better than Excalibur. I think that's the one that really locks into, and there's another movie that has never looked great either. Very hazy, very Vaseline-y. Vaseline as is that a new word that I just coined there? Anyway, I'm really excited to check this out. It's Robert Taylor, Ava Gardner, Mel Ferrer, Anne Crawford, Stanley Baker. Screenplay by Talbot Jennings, Jan Lustig, and Noel Langley. I'm looking for the director. It's an MGM film, so you know you're going to get this big thing. MGM movies, if you don't know, were these lavish, you know, musicals, or if not a musical, they had these huge production values. Almost fairy tale in construction. Photographed in Eastman color. Directed by Richard Thorpe. There we go. Special features: introduction by Mel Ferrer, newsreel footage of the gala premiere, CinemaScope short MGM Jubilee Overture, CinemaScope cartoon One Droopy Night, and I've got the Phil Collins song One Droopy Night, One Droopy Night. Original theatrical trailer. I think I've gone punchy here near the end of this video. 2 DVDs from MVD that are both music documentaries in nature. We've got Legends of the Canyon, which I'm very excited to see. I don't even know if these are new. Now, this is a 2010 documentary and this is a 2014 documentary, and they've probably been on DVD before. I don't know, but these are just getting new distribution from MVD Visual. And I've never seen Legends of the Canyon. And there's a documentary, the Laurel Canyon is what we're talking about. The Laurel Canyon scene of the late 1960s into the early 1970s. Crosby, Stills and Nash, Mamas and the Papas, Buffalo Springfield, Joni Mitchell, The Byrds, Carole King, America. The music and magic of 1960s Laurel Canyon as told by legendary rock photographer Henry Diltz. That is the man. He's the guy that took the picture on the cover of the first Crosby, Stills and Nash record, where they're sitting outside on the couch outside of that building that they went back like the next day to redo it, and the building was gone. It had been torn down. Henry Diltz is like the most famous photographer of the counterculture. That whole 60s hippie thing, he was there taking pictures of those people at that time. I love that scene. I love that music. I've been to Laurel Canyon. I've been to the Laurel Canyon Country Store, as mentioned in the music by these guys. I've looked upon Jim Morrison's house. She lives on Love Street. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about. So there's no special features on this, but I'm just happy to have a hard copy of this documentary. And then here's Jethro Tull. I'm going to be honest, I've never really gotten into Jethro Tull, but I feel like I should. Somebody once asked me, it was like 15 years ago, they said, "Are you into Jethro Tull?" And I was like, no, I've never thought, hey, this rock music needs more flute. And I thought I was so funny. Now, all these years later, I'm like, hey, throw the flute in there, right? Like, whatever adds to the vibe. The older you get, hopefully, you become less closed off and less close to new things, and you want to explore more. And that's certainly where I'm at. So now, this documentary is going to be my entree into the world of Jethro Tull. Again, no special features here. It's a 2008 documentary. It's got a 2014 copyright, but then it says the documentary is 2008. So anyway, both of those are out on disc now. I know I got a lot of musicologists that watch my channel, and they're asking when the next music video is going to be. Soon, my friends, soon. So that is this. I feel like this was kind of a super show. Maybe I'm going to go with a super... How long am I running here? Oh, almost 40... This is a super show, my friends. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to put a little Amazon link in the description of this video. It's in every video, too. That supports Serial at Midnight. If you pick any of these releases up, that does contribute directly to Serial at Midnight. And just kind of helps raise the profile of me with some of these labels so that they see my value, which is nice. And I see your value for making it all the way. You see how I did that transition there? For making it all the way to the end of this video. Not everybody does. I see the statistics. It's, it's rare that people make it to the end of the video. So you are, I'm not going to call you a true fan, but you're the real deal. And I appreciate it. Continue the conversation in the comments below. Let's talk about, if you've seen my feature for Poseidon, I'd love to know what you think about it. If you have seen some of these Warner Archive titles, I would love to talk about those movies. If you've seen His Kind of Woman, oh my gosh, it's so good. Let's talk about it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Take care. Till next time, I will catch you later.